On the surface of Venus, you would be crushed, cooked, and dissolved, all at once, in about 1 second. 465 degrees, 90 times the pressure at your ears right now. Clouds of sulfuric acid. And Venus is not even the strangest way to go. So let's take the tour. One body at a time, no suit, just you, and a solar system that was never built for you. The rules: no suit, no ship. You appear on each surface for 1 moment. The only question is how that moment ends. You versus the solar system. Let's run the experiment. Mercury, the closest rock to the sun. Mercury barely has an atmosphere, so it can't hold heat evenly. Step into sunlight and the ground is over 400 degrees. But the airlessness gets you first. In a vacuum, the moisture in your body starts to boil. You black out in about 15 seconds, and there is no comfort in the view. From Mercury, the sun looks 3 times bigger than it does from your backyard, a huge white furnace in a black, airless sky. Cooked on one side, frozen on the other, and suffocating in the middle. Mercury can't decide how to kill you, so it does all 3. And there's a genuinely strange detail. At Mercury's poles sit craters so deep that sunlight has never once reached the floor. Inside them, on the planet closest to the sun, there is ice. Billions of years old, sitting a short walk from 400-degree rock. You still can't drink it. Verdict: death by everything at once. Venus. We started here for a reason. Venus is the same size as Earth. It is also the closest thing to hell we have ever mapped. The air is so heavy that standing on Venus feels like being 900 meters underwater. That pressure alone would flatten you, and you would not last long enough to feel it, because the heat and the acid arrive in the same instant. Landers we sent lasted about 2 hours before Venus destroyed them. It gets stranger the longer you look. On Venus, the mountaintops are frosted, not with snow, but with a metallic sheen. It is hot enough at the surface to vaporize metal, which drifts upward and settles on the peaks. And the planet barely turns. A single day on Venus lasts longer than its entire year, and the sun, if you could see it through the acid, would rise in the west. Verdict: crushed, cooked, dissolved. The worst seat in the solar system, Mars. The one we actually want to visit. Mars feels almost survivable. It has a sky. It has sunsets. It has weather. And it would still kill you in under 2 minutes. The air is barely there, less than 1% of what you breathe now. To your body, that is essentially a vacuum. The spit on your tongue would begin to boil, not from heat, from the lack of pressure. You'd pass out in 15 seconds and be gone in about 90. The cold at 60 below would only matter to a body that was still alive to feel it. Verdict: the pretty one still kills you. Jupiter. And here the rules change. Jupiter has no surface to stand on. It's a planet made of gas that never quite ends. So you don't land, you fall. First the winds, faster than any hurricane on Earth, throw you sideways through storms wider than our entire planet. Then as you fall, the gas thickens, the pressure climbs, the temperature climbs with it. Long before any center, you are crushed and cooked into the atmosphere itself. In truth, Jupiter would kill you before you even reach the clouds. It's wrapped in radiation belts so violent they would deliver a lethal dose while you were still falling toward them. We know roughly how that goes because we did it. In 1995, we dropped a probe into Jupiter on purpose. It survived 58 minutes and fell about 100 miles before the heat and pressure ended it. It never got anywhere near the bottom. There may not be one. Verdict: you don't land. You dissolve into the storm. Saturn, Jupiter's crueler cousin. Everything that's true of Jupiter is true here, except the winds are worse. Saturn has some of the fastest winds in the solar system, over 1,000 miles an hour. You would be swept into the same long fall, past storms shaped like a giant 6-sided knot at the pole, down into the crushing dark. Verdict: the prettiest death in the system. Still a death. Uranus and Neptune, the far cold twins. Out here, the sun is a bright star and nothing more. Neptune has the fastest winds we've ever recorded anywhere, faster than the speed of sound. The temperature sits near 200 below. You would freeze, then fall, then be crushed into a planet-sized ocean of superheated, super-pressurized water that somehow never boils away. And deep inside both ice giants, the pressure is thought to squeeze carbon out of the atmosphere and crush it into diamond. Somewhere below you, it is raining gemstones. You would fall through that rain, frozen solid, and never see a single one. The most beautiful thing in the solar system happens where no eye can survive. Verdict: frozen, then crushed, in the dark. Pluto. The lonely edge. Pluto is small, still, and colder than almost anywhere. 230 below, with an atmosphere so thin it's barely a rumor. So you get the same airless boil as the inner worlds, but slower, quieter, and near total silence, 3 billion miles from the nearest help. Verdict: the loneliest way to go, although there is one near miss. And it isn't a planet. Titan, a moon of Saturn, has a thick nitrogen atmosphere and actual weather. The pressure there is close to Earth's, slightly higher, like standing at the bottom of a swimming pool, which means on Titan you would not boil or burst or be flattened. Your body would stay intact. You would simply be standing in air 290 degrees below freezing. Give yourself an oxygen mask and an unreasonably good coat, and Titan is the only place on this entire tour where the argument is even close. You'd still freeze, but you'd freeze in one piece. So, out of every world we know, where can you actually stand? And it isn't only the planets. Our own moon is airless too. The same 15-second boil, the same dead silence, 250,000 miles from the nearest breath of air. So here's the honest scoreboard. Every single world in this video kills you in seconds to minutes. Every one. Except the third rock. Earth doesn't kill you, and we treat that like it's normal. It isn't. You are tuned exactly to one thin layer of air on one small rock. Everything you love lives inside a shell of gas thinner than the skin on an apple. The universe is almost entirely trying to kill you, and you get to spend your whole life on the one place that isn't. Try not to waste the view.